Yes, we're about to start this journey now. You know, this right here, the opening of the mouth, you see the cloud right there. This is about the Lord of the Rings. You see, I'm gonna see if the ring come up behind me with the mouth shape. You know, one thing that I come to realize is like lately my astral meditations has changed. It ain't the same like it used to be. It's like now what I used to start off just flying around in the astral world, helping put together, different parts. I'm like a genesis scientist. I do more cell work. Everything I involved with is cells, and I'm flying through, you could say cells, but I didn't know at that time I was actually flying through cells. It looked like you're in dark space, air. But they always say that the dark light itself isn't dark, and that's true. So I didn't see what was there. So now when I'm meeting, like everybody will see that's astral projecting, right? These entity beings, these faces, these gory looking Egyptian creatures, I understood how to communicate with them, and we had a good thing going, and they teaching me, became my teachers, getting all type of bracelets and chains and rings, and I got married to God, became the husband man, like what's his name? Noah. You know what I'm saying? And so now with all of these and going to the turtle will be the earth dimension, to the snake, the cobra, through the panther, through the hyena. I've been through a lot of different beings. I've met all the Egyptian pharaohs, went through them, we bucked heads. These is all part of the journey. It's like you taking a downward spiral into your core, the core of who you really are, beyond your physical, into not just, you could say, spiritual, the ethereal, the primordial, down to your pure self, into your actual subatomic world. And it goes on and on. And so when you get past all of these now, you get into the core of the program of yourself, which will be numbers and letters. You start seeing actual now images, symbols appearing. Hello, how you doing? They're more like anagrams, if you want to find a specific name for them, or symbols. You will see ones, twos, fours. If you saw my last video with the water, when I was looking at the sea, if you pause in the video, you will see a lot of reflective light, and those reflective light got letters in them. The genetics is actually more vivid. You can see how the universe is actually built off of a number system or algorithm. That's actually how, you could interpret it in computer talk. So when you get this far down into it, you're really getting out to the God code, the center of yourself. It's in you. That's the mandala. Excuse me. Now, when you get down into the mandala, you're talking about Meru, the guy who's sitting there. It's an old Indian picture of him meditating. It's like one of the oldest pictures ever of, you could say, who is the one that created everything. And the one that created everything is equated to Meru. And Meru now is it's spelled M-E-R-U or M-U. I can't get it all together now. I'm not trying to get it all. Y'all like that fine and define and equated to. Y'all figure it out from there. It's just parables then, all right? So from there now, you will see a man meditating, and he's the one who manifested the universe. So that man that's sitting there meditating is you. And you got to realize that's your core self as an astral gas body that create the universe, like a nebula. It's reflected as above, so below. So this nebula is the aftermath of what's in the core. When you get to the core now, it's like you're looking at one crystal light, a one strand of light through, like, say it's a reflection, and you're looking at a sun beam on some type of glass, and it's reflecting off the glass like when you put a magnifying glass there, and you will see it's like diamonds in it or little particles in it that forms and it changes. Well, those is actually, you could say, your center core, your star. The star now, how this works is, if you was to see it, it will be hexagon shape, right? A hexagon shape. But this hexagon shape, it changes, it pulses, you can say, and it turns from a hexagon shape, which is when you're not paying it no attention, to actually turn it into a circle, a ring, when you paid attention, when you would give it some focus. Now this ring now, it got the source ring, because this is all rings. You're going through rings. When you're in perception, your intelligence, your level of consciousness is in a ring. That's inside your chakra system. So the center ring now is the man that's called the Vitruvian man, with his arms spread out like he's on the crucifix. But instead of like the Jesus picture where his feet is together, which symbolizes the fall and the death, but it also symbolizes this fall and death through the feminine principle, the woman. That's why it got its legs closed in the form the V. Arms spread out with his legs open. That will make the V for the feminine principle, the vagina, or for the twin flame, the female from the twin flame. That's why he's an androgynous being. In pictures, you see how it's got the feminine look to it, and they have Mary Magdalene as the other aspect of him. That's why they're always painted with red and blue. Well, at your core, you got the Vitruvian man with his legs spread open, the one that Michelangelo drew with his legs inside the circle as like the symbol of the what would that be, like the perfect man? I call it the Vitruvian man. That's what you would Google. But anyways, now that is at your core, but it got a polarity pole going through it. And it's not really clinging to nothing. It's like just floating there in the core. And in between there's another polarity line by going through his hands across. And it's inside the hexagon shape, like it was a nice trinket or bracelet. And it also had the little part on the top, like if it's a trinket or bracelet. But now when you look at that, it got in a circle going this way, and another circle going this way, and circles going this way, and another circle going this way. So it's now wheels and wheels, and as it go out, another one wraps around another wheel and another wheel and another wheel. As it goes out and get bigger, like you're looking at a globe of the earth, it look like an intricate clock system of just wheels inside wheels, of every part of it intricately its own circle or sphere that moves upon its own. So now you realize you're looking at what Ezekiel saw. The wheels inside wheels that moves to the right when the person moved, and then move to the left with the beasts and all the creatures with the seraphims. These are your cherubims, your spirits that protect you, your protected gods and spirits. So these protecting spirits now is actually worded out in how Ezekiel have it. He has it like he looked up and he saw the cherubims or the seraphims, and they was with the wheel, with the man with the four face. The four face representing your four bodies. You have a earthly body, astral body, an ethereal body, and a mental body. All the different floors that you on. You got earth, air, fire, water. So you can exist in all four elements. So he saw himself in those light, and that's his core, the wheels. Once you're able to get to the wheels, that's when you see in the Lord, the man on the throne, because that's what he will be seen as if you're seeing it through your eye. The center man, that is the Vitruvian, is the same man that is the man sitting on the throne, which is your core. Now this core, if you take it out of all those views I said, this is actually super microscopic vision. You keep seeing, you keep going in, you're going in. So as you go in, each layer changes. It's like looking at your skin. As you push the microscope closer to your skin, you get different layers, your epidermis, the other layer and the other layer, but each layer renders different germs, bacteria, different creatures, so they're all there on different levels. So it will be the same similarity how I tell you an atom have 4 stages to it, with E1, E2, E3, and E4. Well, each one turn the atom from a solid to a liquid to a gas, and then it evaporates to ether. So with those 4 stages is what man have in him. That's the 4 bodies, and they replicate it through the zodiac to make us see it as like it's part of the zodiac, when in actuality, as above, so below. Okay, I know this is kind of lecturish, this is stinking, but I have to make you understand the principal theology of how you leave your body, how the world works, and what you're here supposed to do. So I have to break it down just like the master would have done if he was here himself. He's putting this knowledge in me. So anyways, Now, with it able being to be the ring, or the wheels inside the wheels, these is the seraphims. No, my bad. No, the seraphims is dragons. The cherubims. The cherubims now is those gargoyle-looking things you saw on top of these buildings. You see, they don't tell you the cherubims is set out to protect and to conceal. Actually, this world is not here in the sense of you're seeing it in a physical way. This is a big stage, a plot that was set up by God to trick your mind so you could purify yourself. It could actually flip and flap open and you're in another world. It's like mirrors that could flap this way and flap that way. That's the cherubium wings. Listen to this. I'm putting y'all on. Don't follow what nobody's saying. Listen, I'm teaching y'all. You could grab y'all any book in Bible because this is where the data come from that they study and they don't tell you this. I'm putting you on to stuff to go study for future shit then. But my philosophy will be tomorrow's science. So now, if you read in Exodus, they tell you that the cherubs, when God, this when you first start hearing about it, when he tell you to build the Ark of the Covenant. When he tell you to build the Ark of the Covenant, he said to take two cherubims and have them face each other. And when they close their wings, everything is going to disappear. The Ark disappears. That's what happens. And only time it's seen is when somebody go in the tent and they're in there by itself. But aside from that, the cherubims was made there to conceal it. And he goes on to say, when you want to talk to me, to go and look at the ark or go to where the cherubims is at and look between the cherubims. He's always between the cherubims. The cherubims conceal the throne. All he got the cherubims do is open the throne and he's right there sitting on it. Looking like Abraham Lincoln, I was saying, sitting on the throne, or the man in the wheelchair sitting in his wheelchair. But in actuality, it's a pharaoh. It's the Pharaoh Heru sitting in his seat. It's the most ancient way of saying it before you would say Abraham Lincoln. We'll identify as that as old, but before that, in the image or icon symbol of someone sitting in a chair, it will equal kingship. You know, someone domination. Now this is funny. The kingship don't come from the king. It comes from the prince. A prince anoints a king. The prince is the one that's invisible. That's the energy, the demion, the one who came out of the air and just manifested to this person and anointed him king. For that to happen, it had to be somebody similar to Jesus, or the one they call Serapis, or the one that they call the highest, because it's a ruling zodiac sign, what's called a yuga. You got Kali Yuga, Tetra Yuga, and so forth. The yugas is actually, you could say, prominences of the stars that align with us, and they come down to us in form of gamma ray and X-ray. They conceal the whole rainbow and compress it to complete it, to give it life, to bring it to existence. And so these two now spectrums, they come together and they make up everything that we exist upon. And now with us existing upon just under these lights and these different radiances, we're able to manifest our own true reality through these lights. Now, in the metaphysical world, the gamma ray, the gamma spectrum, and the infrared spectrum is governed by the cherubims. It's like an invisible light to our eye, but it exists. And there's energy that exists in it called the black body. The infrared body of the Negro person, the black person. That's why it's called that. The African contained the black body. It's up to a certain degree of carbon that contains it, or melanin that makes it contain. It becomes self-contained within itself. Well, all of this is the hidden cherubs. It's like your melanin is full of millions upon billions of cherubs that form these diamonds that I'm telling you is the Vitruvian man, and that makes cells, form honeycombs, form the speckle of light. If you was to see one light, It's all the same, but it's interchangeable, like I told you, through the energies from it being able to transform from E1, E2, or E3, 4. So now when the biblical says, we're talking how the cherubs now is worded in the Bible telling you that he will be in the center of it, and the cherubs covers the ark, and when they do that, everything become invisible. Nobody can see anything. This is how the rings work. So in the air, it's there. If you could squint, focus and you've done enough sun staring, and you have your cryptochromes active, it's like a magnetic field, and your ethereal body connected. You've been isolating yourself, practicing yoga. True yoga, you have to be alone. It's a hermetic philosophy. It's a hermetic field for it to work. You can't talk about you're going to do what I'm telling you to do and have a family. No. This is isolation. You get yourself, this is alchemy, is being by yourself. You had to do the whole alchemy thing that I tell you about. Then you come into this stage that I'm at now. But you need to be alone. It's only going to work if you're a single person living alone and you're all right. If it's not, you can't expect the same results I do, because you're going to be sharing your energy, sharing your circles, sharing your rings. Transfer of energy. So you can't get where you want to go. I can sit and don't talk for 4 days, don't move for 4 days, don't eat for 4 days, and accumulate energy. That's the ancient Hermetic ways I practice. As a Nazarene, a Essene, all these is a lifestyle you live. You don't do certain things. You don't eat in front of people. You can't drink certain waters. It's a lot you have to do to maintain peace and harmony with nature, which is the spirits, the elementals, and to be able to understand them, and they manifest to you and be your teacher and guide. Just like, it goes back to Buddha. Buddha and his wife was trying to learn yoga and Buddhism on the beach, and it was a spirit, Vishnu, or the great dragon, came and taught him. He followed it, looking in the sky on the beach, following the hands, the clouds, all that shit, and learned Buddhism and all the yoga tantras that you see, and mantras, and the other things, that the mandalas, the hand signals, all of that came from the clouds and angels, higher beings that ascended different groups of people to make them conscious of their reality and stop being savages, just looking to live, looking to fucking their pleasures. That's when we started going from savage to barbarianism to civilized. So now the cherubs, now if you look in Ezekiel, they start telling you how Ezekiel saw the same thing, the cherubs in the sky. And when they opened up, the throne was there. And he drops to his knees and pass out. So you see, that the cherubs is always there when you talk about rings. You go look it up now. In the first beginning book of Ezekiel, they tell you the rings. Not just the wheel, he tell you about the wheel, but he tell you about the rings. And they took that and ran with it once they learned the science and how to do it. And that's where you get Harry Potter and the Lord of the Rings. Well, it's right here. This reality isn't real. If you know how to magnetic field and push it out, you could make big circular rings actually here in the air. This whole air will come past. For you to understand that, you got to understand Kundalini, how it works. I'm setting up for a video that I was going to do. And I'm going to give you a sneak preview of how the ring look. It's a cell. And how I know is, like I tell you, I'm a Genesis scientist that I do the work now for them. So with doing it, it's all I'm familiar with is cells. I got like pictures and video. First, I'm going to show you it and how it looks on a Kundalini picture. If you look at this picture right here, you see that's the cell right there. They pushing these cells into it. And this is about Kundalini activation. These is old pictures, right? But this is what you're going to be dealing with in your eyes. This right here, the cell. Here's a clearer picture of it. Another picture that they drew. And this is about Kundalini. They say it have nothing to do with no science or nothing like that. This is Kundalini activation. This is what you're going to see right here. And here go the funny thing. This is the next picture they have. And somehow I could tell you that spirit, that's how you go in dimension. And that's the hole I travel, the tunnel I run down and come out of that. That's it right there. And it has to do with Kundalini activation. This is a Kundalini picture, a screenshot. Now, I'm going to show you it actually in a video that this guy, he's thinking that there's a firmament around the earth and that we're in a sphere of a firmament. And there's a rocket they try to shoot up into space and it hits the firmament and comes back down. He's thinking that there's a actual, you know, like a dome and we're going to hit the dome. I told y'all before, it's frequencies, bands. If you ever look at even when the sun is going up and down, you see those bandwidth lines that make the different light orange, darker brown. Those, you can't just go through that. That shit is weight. It's going to push you back down. So each one is the cell, is the ring, is the dome, but you're only seeing parts of it. So now I'm going to play the video for you so you can understand what I'm talking about. Here is the actual video of him doing it. Listen. Let me see. Hold on.
Doing something weird, and I was looking at it and watching it going, well, that looks like a firmament.
Hold on. This is not a good spot because of the ocean. But, you know, I'm going over here someplace away from the ocean because I want y'all to see what I'm talking about. Because a lot of people, they got everything. Everybody's confused, man. They don't know nothing. They're being taught wrong. And we actually promote these lies that they're saying because out of fear. We fear and we don't believe in God. And you don't believe in any of this stuff. So if you don't have no faith and no belief, there's no way you're going to see anything. That's why they said the most righteous person is the one with the most faith. Meaning you ain't a coward. You ain't afraid to venture out into these worlds, to look beyond what people are seeing. But you can't see if you're looking at something a man made, something somebody told you, unless you're just trying to prove they lie. They lying. We already know they lying. There's no need to prove that because that's what we're here trying to figure out. What are they lying about? And why are they lying? So with that in mind, that's why I'm able to make these connections and show you something that will make you think this is a crazy dude. But we live in a mystical, magical world that's built off of witchcraft, and the Illuminati know this, and they use it against us, and they control our minds and make us think what they want us to think, believe what we want to believe, but they themselves have books. The books itself will tell you